afternoon, good evening, members of the media. Earlier this afternoon, we sent a letter to the Bermuda Industrial Union President, Mr. Chris Ferbert, outlining a plan to end the impasse that has caused disruption and distress across the island. The letter was a product of days of constructive dialogue between government representatives, Mr. Ferbert and his union colleagues, as well as input from the wider community. I am happy to report this evening that agreement has been reached on a way forward and that the impasse will now end. Members of Parliament will return to work on Monday. Public services will resume and business activities affected by the withdrawal of labor will return to normal. To achieve this agreement, the government will enable further community input into the various elements of the Bermuda Immigration and Protection Act. The bill itself will be removed from the order paper on Monday when we return to work. Consultative working groups comprising key stakeholders will set up to discuss the various elements of the bill and to make recommendations. The principles of the original bill will form the basis of their terms of reference. The working groups are to submit their input to a fixed schedule that will allow Parliament to consider immigration reforms in stages through the current session to the start of the next session in November. For example, the first working group will deal with children and family provisions from the original legislation. The work will relate to reform affecting children born in Bermuda or who arrived here at a young age, adoption, and maintaining the integrity of mixed status families. It is expected that this group will submit its recommendations for it to be in an amended bill to be tabled on May 13th. A second working group dealing with the grant of permanent residence certificates after 15 years is to submit provisions for the debate during the Parliament's summer session. A third working group will be formed to submit recommendations on the grant of Bermuda status after 20 years. Its work will be scheduled to table in the November session. Ladies and gentlemen, the agreement accepted this afternoon by Mr. Ferbert and his group will see us press the reset button on the immigration reform schedule, setting the stage for wider input in specific reform proposals. This is a good result, and it emerges after days of disruption and duress. The process to this point has been difficult, but it also has been enlightening. What has emerged is better community understanding of an issue that is critical to all of our lives, our collective future, and the meaning of our island home. What has also emerged is a determination to more closely connect public input with the work of government as it develops. Democracy can be messy at times, but there is no better way for communities to work out their problems. The politics is sometimes hard, but it also teaches you that compromise and sacrifice are more often than not necessary in order to achieve something for the common good. The agreement today is, in the final analysis, a responsible and reasonable outcome that will serve the island well going forward. Over the next few days, we will proceed with the formation of the working groups. Members of Parliament will meet on Monday in the House of Assembly to pass the 2016-17 budget and to table legislation that will lead to the creation of jobs. We're going to get back to the business of the people, working to restore security and prosperity to all Bermudians. As I close my comments and before we take questions, I want to take this opportunity to thank Sir John Swan for his help in working through this matter. We had a conversation, I believe, 2 nights ago, and Sir John has been on the case since that time, and he's been invaluable in bringing the two partners together. So, Sir John, once again, you have served Bermuda. Thank you, sir. Members of the media.
You say hindsight is 2020. Do you think this could have been handled better?
I thought you asked me that question last night.
I'm asking you again, sir.
And I think I answered you last night along this regard, that yes, hindsight is 2020, and as a responsible leader, I will always live and learn.
Any indication as to how much these last 4 or 5 days of withholding of labor and such may have cost the country?
I think it's way too premature to commit on that, but the big cost, in our opinion, is that tensions have become high. People have been very emotive about a very important issue, and so that's why it's critical that we all got together and moved it forward. Gary, there will be people on all sides of this equation that will have concerns about the outcome, but this is the best outcome for Bermuda going forward under the circumstances, and we can move forward on an important issue, and we can move forward tomorrow to get Bermuda back to operating, to take care of our children in school, to unload the ships, to get business going again, and get Bermudians prepared for the weekend and the very important Easter week next year. So we're grateful.
Will Senator Michael Figg remain Minister of Home Affairs?
Gary, you asked me that question earlier today, and I told you that any cabinet changes that I would have to make will be done over the next couple of days, but Minister Fay has our complete confidence.
What is the mood like in the government camp?
Tired. As I said, politics can be messy at times, but we're a very strong team. It is indeed unfortunate that our colleague has resigned, but he's committed to stay with us and work from the backbench, and we will move forward to serve the people of Bermuda who duly elected us, and they can be assured that they have our full commitment as we take on the difficult challenge that we still face.
Any indications as to who will be succeeding Mr. Cropper? I know that Dr. Gibbons...
Dr. Gibbons will be interim tourism and transport minister, but I would anticipate in a very short period naming a new minister.
Just to comment, Minister Fay has been prominent throughout this entire episode, but he's not here now.
He had another engagement to go to. I believe he's got family off the island and family to take care of. Just left here a couple minutes ago.
So, John...
Yes, his wife told him to get home for dinner.
I was asking if you're willing to make any comment.
I'm not in politics anymore. I was just a messenger, delivering a message.
You're being considered right now the great mediators.
You know, Bermuda's a very small economy. It's very delicate. It's an island community. And these types of things, if you have a big country, which it happens in one part of a country, but when it happens in Bermuda, it affects the whole country. And I think it's incumbent upon us, all of us, that when we can make a contribution to the resolution of issues, this or any other issue, we should step forward in a constructive way and try to do our best. We have some very challenging times. I can tell you, there isn't a day goes by that I don't have a nightmare about the Minister of Finance, because he has an awesome responsibility of looking after and protecting and making sure that the finances of this country are kept on track. And it's like everything else. You fall off, it's very hard to get back on again. So this, I think, the government has been reasonable and rational in recognizing that no sense winning a battle and losing a war. I think the collective spirit and the collective will. And there are those who will say, you know, why did you give up something? But, you know, our family philosophy is very simple. In order to win, be prepared to lose. In this case, I believe there's been a win-win situation, because I think we've taken democracy another step forward in the looking after the affairs of our tiny little delicate society. I congratulate the government and the respective persons who worked on this. As I said, my job was to be the go-between and try to make sure that the process stayed together and that it did what was intended to achieve, because the longer it stayed, the worse things got. So I want to thank all the stakeholders, those that were up on the Hill, those represent the respective organizations, those people who stood by patiently and tolerated some of the inconveniences, both tourists and locals, and then those persons who were in government that had a responsibility to carry out their respective jobs, both from those in politics and those as civil servants. We all, at the end of the day, owe it to the next generation to ensure that we keep Bermuda on a course that's not going to please everybody, but it gives everybody an opportunity to survive and do what is necessary. So thank you, and it's been a great honor to serve Bermuda.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Member.